Although peace talks between Russia and Ukraine have not yet actually begun, a guarantee plan for Ukraine is currently in development, which includes the deployment of peacekeeping troops in the country, but under the auspices of the UN, as well as logistical support from the United States, writes La Repubblica. This is reportedly being done based on the position of Kremlin dictator Vladimir Putin, who continues to state that he will never accept the deployment of NATO or European troops in Ukraine. The peacekeeping contingent, the Blue Helmets, will be recruited from Asian and South American countries. It is assumed that the operation will involve troops from India, Brazil, Indonesia and Saudi Arabia. This peacekeeping mission will control the Russian-Ukrainian border. At the same time, the deployment of NATO and European troops in this area is excluded, the media writes. The second contingent will be formed from so-called volunteers from European countries and their allies. It may include Great Britain, France, Germany, Canada and Italy. None of the countries that participated in the negotiations in London and Paris have declared their categorical refusal to participate. However, this contingent will not be deployed in the conflict zone, but on the border between Ukraine and the EU, in Poland, Bulgaria, Slovakia, and possibly Hungary. This is an additional deterrent for Russia should there be a desire to move closer to the territories of the European Union. Between these two contingents, there remains the Ukrainian army, which will have to be strengthened and supported. It is reported that both the Europeans and the Americans are ready to actively supply Ukraine with weapons. It is important to take into account that the Ukrainian army is already accustomed to real combat operations, while the European armies are much smaller. The fourth factor is the United States. American President Donald Trump has repeatedly stated that he does not intend to participate in any peacekeeping mission in Ukraine. However, the United States is ready to provide all necessary logistical and technological support for these operations, including aerial surveillance, radars, and satellite monitoring. And this aid will not be free. Trump makes it clear that US support depends on the agreement with Zelenski on minerals, key to the production of high-tech products, of which Ukraine has a particularly large amount. The Americans, in this case, will be interested in maintaining stability and peace in order to exploit these deposits. But this four-step plan can only be implemented after a full peace agreement is signed. A simple ceasefire is not enough, and uncertainty about the intentions of Kremlin dictator Putin and even Trump remains high.
Ukrainian forces liberated the village of Nadia in Luhansk Oblast, reclaiming 3 square kilometers from Russian occupation, the 3rd Assault Brigade reported on March 23. The 30-hour operation was carried out by the 3rd Assault Brigade, in particular the 1st Assault Battalion. The brigade uploaded a graphic video from the operation showing armored vehicles firing across an open field, and Ukrainian soldiers shooting in woods nearby derelict houses. Several dead Russian soldiers are shown in the video, although the brigade did not confirm the number of fatalities and casualties. The capture of Nadia cost the enemy 2 months of effort and 2 wiped-out mechanized regiments, the 752nd and 254th 20th Russian Army, said Andriy Biletsky, commander of the 3rd Army Corps. According to the brigade, control over Nadia was restored by the 1st Assault Battalion. The total area liberated from Russian forces amounts to 3 square kilometers. The village lies on the western edge of Luhansk Oblast, around 3 kilometers from the border of Kharkiv Oblast. It was captured by Russia in March 2022, then liberated in October 2022 before being occupied a second time. In late February, Ukrainian paratroopers recaptured the village of Kotlin near Pokrovsk in the Donetsk region, dealing heavy losses to Russian forces in a decisive assault operation, according to the airborne assault forces. Luhansk Oblast remains almost entirely occupied by Russian forces. Footage of a group of Ukrainian fighters retreating from Russia's Kursk region has been released. The fighters, who are mainly moving in pickup trucks, are being pursued by Russian army drones. The footage has been shared on social media. The fighters who fired at the drones have in some cases become targets themselves. As a result of the strike, several of the vehicles have been disabled. However, the Ukrainian fighters were able to reach the Sumy region border without losing any manpower. A large number of destroyed armored combat vehicles and military trucks can also be seen on the road where the fighters were moving. The fighting has intensified in Russia's Kursk region, where Russia has been making gains in recent weeks. Vladimir Putin visited Kursk on March 11 and promised to fully recapture the region.